Silhouettes look easy to draw, but they are not. Let's go over the different types in this video. They have been around since the beginning, sometimes probably used as a way to not have to draw the character in detail, finish the page by dinner time, but they work best when they add to the drama of the story. Here a John Romita Jr. version with a panel-by-panel reveal of the Joker. It would have looked like this in reality, but the use of the silhouette changed overnight and became every artist's favorite toy after the release of Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And man, does he make them look good. Also thanks to Lynn Varley's beautiful background colors. What makes these so special is that it's a design approach. In real life, it would probably look like this. So in this comic, maybe this, which is not as cool. And this is a comic, right? Don't give me reality, give me something cool. This is art, people. Arthur Adams' homage already the next year. And McFarlane was a big fan of the teeth in silhouette, already in Infinity Inc. and definitely in Hulk and Batman. Then in Spawn 10, this Frank Miller homage. Gotta love it. And we're starting to see the three kinds. The full black outline, the design highlight, and the partial silhouette. Joe Quesada loves silhouettes as well, especially the design highlight version. And yeah, you have to admit it works really well with especially black and yellow. So the secret to drawing a good one is not to take the quick way out. You better be sure Quesada drew the whole figure under this, which you need to find the eye lines, the mouth placement, curvature of the clothes. So yes, even for the trench coat, make sure the body proportions are correct. And this here is genius. Talk about design. The man who wasn't there. The letters make up the background, and in the last letter, that nonchalant, kind of depressed silhouette, all the emotion is completely clear with just a few strokes. And see how all the arms and legs are shown to make it clear that this is an operating table with that heart zapper thing. Not always necessary though. Here in this one, just one arm and leg tell the situation just as well. And here this punch wouldn't be as clear without the chest X, but thanks to that contrast, the direction is clear. So it's kind of a puzzle sometimes. For a partial silhouette, the most important part is picking your light source. So in this case from here. And for the full black outline version, make sure that you can still understand what is going on. This here is a super cool pose, but it wouldn't work as a silhouette. But this here is fantastic, and the arms and legs are recognizable in a split second. Okay, let's draw. I'm definitely going for a Lynn Varley type of background, which is easy to make with a brush and adding a noise filter. Also going for a rooftop with those nice clear outlines. But who to put there? What are you? I'm Batman. Or a Daredevil handstand? No. How about a bulky Dark Knight Spawn? Yes. Fun to draw him in that Frank Miller anatomy. So let's see if I got the proportions right. Yeah, pretty good. And taking the first costume, of course. Just checking these Supermans for a cape reference to see how many lines he would draw and how it would flow. Even though this is kind of a different type of cape. I made a whole video, by the way, on how McFarlane draws capes, if you're interested. It's in the ever-growing McFarlane playlist. Okay, I'll drop the white of the suit, but ignore the red on the body, otherwise there's not enough black. Asked ChatGPT for some Frank Miller Spawn dialogue. Are you ready?
The city bleeds, smoke steel, and sin its holy trinity. They thought hell spat him out. Truth is, it built this place for him. He doesn't breathe, doesn't blink, just waits, like a wound that won't scab over.
Pretty good job. Okay, let's go to the participants of the challenge, of which there were a ton. I knew that the silhouette challenge would get many people to join in. Many wrote that it was harder than expected, and yes, I expected that too. Really good design by FarFar. Perfect Wonder Woman. But for this, my brain glitch is the eye line and horizon. If you have a figure and a horizon, you can play with them all you want. It always looks good. But when there are three things, it starts to get complicated. If both figures are standing, the same part has to stay on the horizon. So if the horizon is at the belt line, it's always at the belt line. In this case, it's under her chin. So if the bad guy is a bit taller than her, should be around his shoulders, I guess. Both their eye line would work. But honestly, this Wonder Woman silhouette is so good, I would just keep it like that, like a Tim Sale cover. Here, cut print, send this one to the presses. Then for these two, I have the same advice. Some more contrast, please. Jaquan has good highlights, just enough to get some depth. And I like the difference in hand size for that reason as well. Spongia Leche with a very cool bullseye. Bonus for the McFarlane grin, although the front arm is a bit close to the body for my taste. How about this? Similar advice for Handsome Jack's Hulk. Great grin and green eyes, that's a nice touch. But the placement of the hands gives your brain a split second to figure out if the hands are actually touching the head or not. And we don't want to give our brain options when looking at a drawing, so maybe out a bit. Then here a classic design silhouette by Jensen. Very nice. This cartoon style goes straight to my heart, but even in the cartoony styles, pay attention to the proportions, like how the belt has to be in the center of the pants. Just go along the center line. And if we're going two colors, boom! Very cool Elektra by Lewis. But another split second puzzle for me here was the hair, which I thought was a shadow of a villain, because it had just the right amount of curves to be shoulder and arms. But yeah, it's hair. If there had been a highlight on the right side of the hair, I wouldn't have gone there. But I get that the hair looks good as a black patch. Okay, Jake with a great Batman. Simple and effective. Love the small Batman eyes. Lots of emotion, even in those. And the bad guy looks like some kind of gargoyle. I can't really tell, but in this case it works, because it adds to the danger. As long as Batman is clear and then there's some kind of menacing shadow, that works for me. Very nice. Check Kashek's entry this week. Perfect. Fun effect with the Batman shape being a door and a light source. And the rough painting style makes it almost impressionistic. This is my favorite Kashek one yet. Nothing to add for this. Home run. Then another home run by Paul. Snickety snicked. Very dynamic figure. The lightest part of the moon is behind the darkest part of Wolverine, which makes it pop even more. The subtle highlight on the rock, but none on the figure, because it's in front of that light source. Yes, yes, yes. Let's continue the Moon series. Jacub's Assassin's Creed is also flawless in my opinion. A mix of design highlights and partial silhouette. Note how the highlight continues in the arm here, because we need it for defining the shape. But all black here, with a little space. Flawless choices all around. Batman Beyond by Joey. This opened a nostalgia hatch in me that I hadn't opened in a while. I loved that series, but hadn't thought about it in almost 20 years. The red cape and logo work very well. Keeping the red here, good choice. Also good choice to go lighter on the background. We still see the feet. He could have gone full silhouette in Moon as well, but this works great too. Then Eli from Dark Adam with a huge piece. Check out the making of and the link in the description of this video. Also this Daredevil with great muscle highlights. And this looks so good that I kind of wish this guy had those as well. Adds a bit more dimension, but very cool stuff. These are nice from Sebastian. Great idea to do Cap as silhouettes. They work really well, also with the flag in the back. Anatomy tip though, especially for complicated poses like folded arms. Just get some reference. I still do that each time I draw crossed arms, because there's so many ways to go with your hands and where to cross. Yeah, Moosey's tool always knows what I like. Some Cyclops, White Queen, Rogue, love triangle stuff. One small tweak to make it perfect is the placement of the White Queen. Because we can't see her curvy curves, and there's no way she would let us get away with that. How about this? Really cute Rogue. Then Raoul with an awesome one, taking me back to Todd McFarlane Infinity Inc. Perfection except for the placement of the legs. Front leg is narrower than the back in this, so bigger or equal is probably better. Just a few tweaks. Benjamin with an OC. Great choice of just slight highlights to get depth. Design effect in the glasses. Nothing wrong with this. If I was pressed for a tip though, I would make the flag go back and diagonal a bit, just to emphasize that flow of the whole image. Otis with a cool Sin City-ish monster. If this is what I think it is, a monster sitting on a wall, the perspective is spot on. Simple and effective. Maybe just some eyes. Then Nick Fury by Amazing Astronaut. A very fun style. The abstract barbed wire, the design highlight eye patch, the tilted horizon. The arms feel a bit long compared to that leg, but because of all the bold style choices, I kind of like it and I wouldn't even change it. And the more I look at it, the more I like it. And that's the goal for art. Check out the smoke, even abstraction there. So yes, applause for the Amazing Astronaut. Then Abimel is back with a nice Moon Knight. He also mentioned himself, it's not really a silhouette, but Moon Knight is kind of always a design silhouette. Looks cool though. Maybe I'd want to distinguish the front and back a bit more with a shadow. That lizard guy with a great one. I like the consistent highlights on the debris and the figure. And a nerd analysis might say the light source is on the right, but the highlight here on the left. But who cares? It looks awesome. So let's call that a reflecting light source. Love the way this line is broken up on the tail. Then Bryant with Horus. I first thought this was the robot from Robocop 2, Nuke. But it's Horus from Warhammer. Partial and full silhouette. Tough to decide which is best, but the lighting is so well done on the shoulder here that I'll go with the partial one. A bit rare to go with fades and sharp outlines so close to each other, but it works. Great art. Check out how good this one by Christopher blends in with the samples I attached. Now that's mission accomplished. Love the jagged power lines and the broken up sword. The lasso color is maybe a bit too similar to the light blue, so I'm thinking black outline or dark two-tone, just to make it pop as much as that chest logo, although that does change the abstraction level a bit. Flash! Ha ha! He'll save every one of us! Red Rooster's first entry. Very good. Design and partial silhouette. I think I prefer the partial. Great detail on the chest. I might have spread out the highlights a bit more gradual, but this makes your eyes focus on the chest emblem, so I get the style choice. Also a first entry by Kanya. Great negative space lines to create depth. That's surprisingly difficult to do, but all of them are spot on. Maybe I want to see a little bit more of the right arm on Reverie, just to make the pose a bit clearer. But I see your dilemma. Not an easy pose to do with a silhouette. Maybe with some more of those lines. Great bad guys in the back. Then another Batman Beyond by Ultra Justin. Fantastic pose. The wings are the design effect and add to the perspective since the back one is much smaller. And then the curve of that body together with the eye line. Nice fade in the background that's lighter in the bottom but still enough to pop the silhouette. My only tip is the line quality difference between the buildings and the body. I'd prefer either the body to be crisp as well or the buildings to be grainy. But I think this one just might be my favorite because it's such a good use of a minimal silhouette design and it's still super dynamic, which kind of makes me wish I went for a more dynamic pose in mine. But yeah, thanks as always to all the participants. Drop a like on this video to support them and me in getting some love from the algo. Check out their art pages in the description and see you soon for the next challenge, which will be extremely old school by